it was only like last week where I got a wake-up call, kind of a fact check back into reality about a certain habit that's just slipped off my radar, and it's just something that I've just not been doing. And I wanted to make this video because, first of all, I just kind of wanted to make myself more accountable on this, that I've taken the action and I want to continue taking action to overcome this. But also it hopefully or maybe it might also resonate with you potentially. Like maybe this is something that you've previously gone through and you can kind of understand, but also maybe it's something you could be going through right now and you can start to take some action as well. And it was only the reason why this realization just hit me was last week I was at my friend's place for the weekend, and he's going away to flight school. He wants to become a pilot, so it was like the last weekend we were all together with me and my friends from school. It was nice, it was really nice, but on one of the days where we were just kind of chilling in the evening, hanging out, I think we were just watching a film, but then I think during when we were just kind of eating and having a conversation with everyone, everyone just started talking about politics and just kind of came up in topic of conversation, and it was quite interesting to just listen. And I just wasn't really part of the conversation, mainly because, not that I could say anything or I couldn't say anything, it's just mainly because I didn't have anything to say. Like, I genuinely didn't know what to add, what to contribute, and that's fine, but I also had no idea, or 80% of the conversation I would say I just didn't understand. And politics definitely isn't a strong point of mine, and I definitely don't know much about politics at all, and it was pretty clear during that conversation. The conversation only lasted about 15 minutes about politics, but still, that 15 minutes felt like, damn, first of all, what do they mean? And I didn't say anything. I didn't say oh, could you explain this, because it was quite a deep conversation. It was more like a debate actually rather than a conversation, and yeah, I didn't really have much value to add. I didn't really understand what to say, and I just felt like, wow, there's so much out there to learn, and just to kind of, in society and politics is obviously quite a big subject, but I've just never been that highly knowledgeable on that subject, and it kind of indicated a thing that where I didn't really know what to talk about, and I just don't understand it. And then I kind of realized, after I came back, I realized that reflected on why did I not understand that conversation, why couldn't I contribute, why couldn't I say anything. It was because I'd lost the ability, or not the ability, I'd say I'd lost the habit of reading. Before, especially last year, I was definitely into reading. I'd read, consistently every week, and I just kind of stopped reading. I think a lot of things got in the way in day-to-day life, which isn't an excuse, by the way. It just got in the way, and suddenly reading it kind of went lower down in the pile of priority, and that's not good, because reading is extremely beneficial. And I just kind of stopped reading, and because when I stopped reading for a couple of weeks and then a couple of months, the habit kind of went. And once the habit's gone, it's just easier not to read, because that becomes a new habit, to just not read. And I'm not gonna lie, because I stopped reading, I just stopped learning about certain things, especially important things, or things that are like very knowledgeable to society, but also just to know and learn as well. So after that kind of moment where like I realized, listen, I stopped reading, I couldn't really contribute in that conversation, I don't really ever want to be in that position again, so I want to start reading again. And this week especially, I've been reading pretty much every day, and I've been taking it very slowly. I've been reading 10 minutes a day. I didn't want to jump into like half an hour reading sessions every day, because I know I will kind of not commit to that, and if I don't commit to that, I won't be able to build that habit again. So I'm starting off with 10 minutes, and then next week I'm going to be reading every single day. I've been reading about 5 times a week. Next week I'll be reading 6 times, and then eventually every single day of the week, and then increase the time. So it's 10 minutes a day at the moment, then I'll increase it to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, so on as the weeks go by. And I think the slow progression, personally, is something that has helped me. With the slow progression, it's just become a bit more easier to stay connected and to reading, and I feel like it's a bit more it's a bit more easier to keep that habit in check. But yeah, personally I like to read non-fiction books, but fiction is also very nice. I've read a couple of fiction books before, but the reason why I love non-fiction more, it's just because like I feel like it's very applicable. Not saying fiction isn't, because there are obviously key themes and stuff like that you can apply to day-to-day life, but fiction, I just find with the right books you can apply that straight to your daily lives. One of my favorite books is How to Talk to Anyone. I think I mentioned it in this channel early on in my videos, but it's a very practical book where you can master the art of being able to communicate. But then there's also stuff like how to manage your finances, or finance related books, how to learn a specific skill. There's so many different kind of, like politics for example, there's a lot of different subjects for non-fiction, and you can pretty much pick up a book and learn about that subject area. And once you've learned, at least dabbled in that kind of area, whenever you go somewhere, you kind of know what to understand or what to expect once you know a bit about that subject, because then it's also a very good conversation starter. Say you meet someone and someone's really into pottery, and maybe you've read a book about pottery and how clay pots are made, or I don't really know anything about pottery, but whatever, you can have that conversation. It's something, rather than just be like, oh, okay, that is pottery, okay, interesting. You know, you can have a conversation with someone. Now, it can obviously be audiobooks as well. I think that's completely fine. But it's just if you learn a subject, and also what reading allows me to do is also just be way more focused. Once you're sat down, your eyes are glued to a book, and you're concentrating for an X amount of time, you're building that focus. And especially in a day and age where, you know, our distraction and is easily gone, or like we have basically very short attention spans, reading's just honestly an amazing habit to have. And I've just lost track of that, and maybe you've lost track in whether it be reading or a good habit in general. Maybe you've lost track, but it's important to realize that you have lost track, and most importantly, just to take action on that. Yeah, and it took me a while. It took me a couple months, and then I realized when I was in the situation of not having anything to contribute or not understanding the subject, that I thought, man, it really was just reading. Like, I just have not been reading. But yeah, I've just taken action now. I'm reading every single day, or nearly every single day, and hopefully I can just continue with it, really. But yeah, I just wanted to say, obviously you probably know that reading is important, but I guess the main key theme and the idea of this video is just to reflect on certain things and that happen, and try and find a solution or a cause to that problem and how you can fix it. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.